Hello. Fancy seeing you here. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to part 16 and possibly the final part of the first game of the trilogy of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. How are we all doing, chat? So we've got Murgu in. Good evening, Murgu. Hope you're doing well. Hope your Sunday's been good. Mine has been out in a garden since about 8 o'clock this morning till about 3. Which was, hey Burnsy, good evening mate, you alright? Which has been exhausting to say the least, but we are here. Mate, I'm so tired. I'm about as tired as I was yesterday, but I really wanted to get this done by the end of the weekend, because next week I really need to sit down and get and focus on getting the Leopold and Loeb story out, because myself and Proper Horror Show are going to be having a good old chat about Rope, which was a film based on the events of Leopold and Loeb. Good evening as well to you, Not Moriarty, and good evening Marina Bellotta as well. Hello there, hello. Well, we've already got a few of you here, so we're not going to hang about. We'll get straight into it. So let's remove the old thumbnail. Let's crack on. I have a nice cool breeze. You're quite warm, Burnsy. Yeah, it's been a really warm day today. I've got a nice breeze coming through the window at the moment. February 25, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, all right. But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Hello there. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. Hey Mima, you're not late, we just started. I'm concerned by my tap water. I discovered that left in sunlight, it turns green. What the hell? You might want to phone a plumber or your water provider, mate. No, that ain't normal. That is not normal. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. Well, that depends on you. Enigmatic! At least it isn't Thames water. This post is made by the Highland Spring Water Gang. Hi, Mima. Oh, by the way, Enigmatic, I've realised I forgot we're Discord buddies. What? I just saw you pop up, mate. Hope you're in. I'll take it you're streaming this and playing something in the background. Very good of you, mate. Very good of you. Exclamation mark. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. Hey, JFC! See you in court, right? He just woke up from a nap, mate. I really need one. I really need one. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25, 10 a.m, District Court, courtroom number 9. And just before we crack on to the next part, if you are watching this on a replay and it's your first time here, please subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss when I go live. Also, chat, make sure you're slapping that like button, and plus anyone watching the replay. And if you do appreciate the series and you've been enjoying it so far, you can consider tipping me. There is a pinned comment in the chat. And there is also a question of the of the stream, which I have put up here, which I will leave open until the end, and we'll come back to that at the end. February 25, 10 a.m, District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. Question mark? But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning. I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Mate, his pregnant pauses. Come on. Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Okay. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Whoa, 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 whoa. I used Twitch for the first time in a long time. It's still terrible, but I found a nice couple who engaged. Ah, forget my free donation. Oh, Shrouded Hand has also joined Twitch as well, guys. So if you are familiar with his work, go and drop him a follow as well. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21 of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! Of course he's going to object. You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defence's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Shut up, Lana, shut up. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. Oh my god, this can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Mate! Edgeworth's growing some stones. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? Well, as its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to... I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Oh, we're going with the free the pineapples hashtag, are we? I was married in the past. It was nice until it wasn't. Oh, bless you. piggy pizza. Love it. So that, yeah, lots of pigs, lots of piggies on pizza. None of that pineapple stuff. Meat gang. Whoop. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecutor's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy? You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. I'm sorry, Mima, I'm an absolute bigot when it comes to pizza. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. I absolutely am, Mima. I am a pizza bigot. 100%. Unapologetically. What can you do about it? Nothing, I guess. Cancel me, I guess. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Le testimony. And what are we all drinking tonight, chat? I have some iced lemonade.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. A man with the onion-shaped hair. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
TCG has been brainwashed. We should pity him, not hate him. It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
Nice. Ah, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I see you are a chat of great culture. Oh my god, Joe Dark is an Esion. No! That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honour. Fentiman's? I heard of that one. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. You're drinking circus peanuts. I have Dr. Pepper. Very sad I don't have Coca-Cola, the superior drink. Agreed. Very well. The defence may begin its cross-examination. 2 years ago.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day.
Hold it! We might have to extract some testimony out. Oh, Fentiman's is a posh people brand. Ah, okay. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes. She was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister. She was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. And the same... Oh no, we did that gag.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage.
Freeway Cola. Oh, I remember Freeway Cola. A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a bad man. Or a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He got stuck with me and ended up taking a knife to the back and a gunshot wound to the chest. But I didn't do it, I swear, even though I dream about it. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me.
What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of the Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out? Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes. Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Oh, thanks, Josie. We got there in the end. Now the next stop is 10k and then 100. Actually, good friend of the channel, The Crime Reel, hit 100,000 today as well, so good on him. Good on him. Well deserved. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Let's hear a little bit more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
Picture?
Oh, yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Let's ask about the picture. I want to do YouTube, but need a good idea. Right, okay. Well, okay, so what are your... I mean, the thing about YouTube, right, is if you're going to start doing it, you need to pick something and stick with it. I mean, this isn't what I'm doing here, right now. This isn't this isn't like the gig. The main stuff I do is the true crime stuff. That's the niche that I'm in. This is more of a just like a kickback and relax kind of stream with the chat. But I don't want a channel. I don't want to put the gaming stuff on my main channel because I don't want it to sort of interfere with the main source content. So that's why I have the second channel to do what I do here. But I mean, in terms of what you want to do, you have to say pick something that you're interested in, because the main thing is, you know, you don't want to just do something for the sake of it. You want to pick something because you genuinely enjoy it. Because I tell you what, the road to the first 1,000 subs is going to be the long one. That breeze is getting a bit cold now. Although YouTube have recently tweaked their guidelines a little bit now to make it a bit easier for channels to start getting monetized. So there is still the rule in place that you have to get 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch time hours in the space of a year. But that's to get things like the super chats, the super berries, like the super thanks, ad revenue, and all that jazz. But if you get to 500 subs and I think it's 3,000 watch hours, then you can at least unlock things like the super chats, the super thanks, those sorts of functions. I think you can get channel memberships as well, but I can't recall if they've said that. The other avenue as well is shorts, YouTube shorts. So you'd still need to get 1,000 subs, but you'd also need to get 10 million shorts views in 90 days. To be honest, the 4,000 watch hours is a lot easier than that. But yeah, you're a solitaire gamer, are you? Well, I mean, I don't know what the market is for solitaire gaming. Isn't live streaming locked as well? No, live streaming isn't locked anymore. You can live stream pretty much from the get-go. I think before you used to have a certain amount of videos up or like a certain amount of subscribers, but nowadays, because I know when I first had a YouTube account, I mean, if you go to my main channel and look at the age of that, I opened that account back in 2006. I think when you first started YouTube, you were sort of locked to 15-minute videos at the time. And then once you'd uploaded a certain number, I think it was 5, I think then you got the ability to do like unlimited, like do longer than 15-minute videos. But definitely pick your niche. Yeah, community pages were unlocked a while back for people. You're right, Mima. You used to have to get 1,000 subs for that, and then it was 500, and then it was no, go on, everyone can have it. Because they're trying to sort of like branch out with the social media stuff. Well, I would make positive videos. Everything can be nice and fun. To be honest, Burnsy, you know what you want to do. The best thing to do is just if you want to make videos, start doing it. All right. Don't wait for yourself to get, a nice PC or a nice microphone and stuff like that. You can do it on your phone. Just start making content. Find what it is that you want to do, and then go with that. But if you always wait to do that first video, you'll be waiting forever, mate. So just start making stuff. Just start making something. Think about something that you want to do. And just put it out there, mate. Put it out there. See what people think. Have a tweak. Watch channels like Nick Nimmin. In fact, hang on a minute. Let me. I know. We should be playing computer games, but you. Oh, excellent. So then half the work's already done there. You want to look at people like, I'm just putting his name in the chat now, Nick Nimmin, right? If you want tips on YouTube, sort of like, what to put in your thumbnail, what to put in your descriptions, what you put in your thumbnails, that sort of stuff. Nick Nimmin is a great source, and he also does content as well, where he'll do like live updates with things like the terms of service and all that jazz as well. So he's definitely somebody to subscribe to if you're interested in making content and you want to learn about how things like the algorithm works, how the YouTube ecosphere works. If you want to stay up to date with like the latest news and whatnot, that's the person I recommend to go and have a look at. Yeah, absolutely do it. Anyway, this witness the picture drew, or this witness the picture, this picture the witness drew. Yeah, Mima does cat videos, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just start making it, mate. Start doing it. You'll learn along the way. I mean, if you go back and look at my older videos, and then you can sort of compare them to now, I like to think that there's been a level of improvement that's taken place. But, I mean, obviously that's subjective to the viewer. But, I mean, my last video, which unfortunately I feel like has tanked, I felt like that was one of my best edited videos, best produced ones that I put out there. So yeah, but the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the more confident you'll get it as well. I mean, if you told me a couple of years ago that I'd be live streaming, even though it's just like to little people, like into like a small audience, like 6 to 10 people, that's mad. But I mean, even when we do horror shows, we do 20. When we do the horror show streams, we do like 20 to between sort of like 20, 30 people. And then there was that live stream that we did with Shrouded and Disturbing, which got over 100 for the first time, and that blew my mind. Anyway, sorry. Back to the game. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honour. Check out my kitty vids, not shilling at all. Mima, don't worry, you can shill. It's fine. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Was it though? No, there was something. Ah, was it this? Hey, there it is. I streamed me painting my living room. People watched my paint dry, but enjoyed it. There you go. Honestly, people will watch anything. There's a market out there for it. I say I do true crime. When I get to, I tell you what, just full disclosure now. When I do get to 9,500, I'm going, because what I say when I get to 10,000, I've got an announcement that I'm going to be making. But when I get to 9,500, I will make my channel members and Patreon members aware of what I'd be doing. But they have to keep it hush hush. I'm talking to you, Marina. Hey, Opium, how you doing? You alright? A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. Got a very bad feeling about this. Okay, so we're going to present this, I believe. Hey, there we go. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. See, Mia Fey, if you go back to the first turnabout, Mia Fey taught us how to turn a piece of paper around. Thank you, Mia. Your legacy lives on. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this? Hey, Mr. Gently Benevolent. Good evening. Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. Phrasing. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Rinky Dink, that's the forged evidence. Oh, by the way, don't forget to answer the question up at the top. Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor, are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. Yes, I've watched Total Recall. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Are you telling me Edgeworth never turned his piece of paper over either? Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. That thing. That thing was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. Guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. Always flip her over. Yeah, your list, I mean. Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were the shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about a murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. And this picture. This was quite a short testimony.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago.
Oh, did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. I love that my chat numbers are going down. I think everyone's going to going off to look at me as cats. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should have still been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows.
So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Dark had a tight grip on me, and when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed?
After that, I must have fainted.
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further?
What?
Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Does it, though? Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course. This is the exact scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? You insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. So I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well.
Strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here.
Must be the autopsy report. Must be. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Oh, God. Would it be this? I think it's, this part here? I don't see what's so strange about it. Oh, that's because the drawing stinks. Oh, God. Right. Mr. Wright, how could you, Sniff? The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty. Oh, simp. I guess he means I shouldn't shift the blame onto others. Yes, well, so long as the defence has learned his lesson. I better take another look at the autopsy report in this picture. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out that... Okay, yeah. Right. Is it the knife? Yeah. Oh, I can't save. I'll say if I goof up again, I'll save. It's got to be the knife. Ah, okay, we go. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. It's a square. Oh, the tip's broken. Oh. Oh. Very good. And the tip is inside Neil. So, is that Gant on Joe Dark? I don't know. I'm saving it though. Right, there we go. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. Again, phrasing. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive evidence. Oh, sorry. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. Oh dear. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? Oh, it's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Nah. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? Oh, he's not happy. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. There's always a way. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Here's another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? Look, all I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honour, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. Objection, as we've already established, Emma has TISM levels, she remembers everything. There we go. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. The Lance, It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? You're on thin effing ice, my pedigree chums, and I shall be under it when it breaks. Now, F off. That crime guy. Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one. If the witness is adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Mr. Wright.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. I feel like I could get away with using one or the other, so I'm going to go with this. The answer lies in the past. I watched an episode of Lars's Summer Wine last night. Very cosy, very humble. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a good show, that. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a this is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. There is something different about that.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was all in likelihood from this award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Ah, nice. Being a prosecutor, he didn't carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh, well done. Got yourself in it there. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. Oh, what's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
TCG activated. Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it? What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
This list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What? You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
Does Maya ever turn up again, Uncle TCG? Well, you will just have to wait and see. Yeah, spoiler alert, yeah, she's in the second and third games, don't worry. There's a whole backstory waiting to be unlocked there. And I believe she's in Spirit of Justice as well.
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Phrasing. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye?
Yes, Your Honour.
First the knife mix-up, and now Blue Badger. This should be interesting. Emma's recollection.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
This is certainly most unusual. Hold on a minute. Was allegedly dancing in the evidence. Okay. This is most certainly unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him. Oh, we got a grammatical error there. I found a clone of these games based on Wizarding Crimes on Steam last night, and I was this close to sending it to you, TCG. What's it called? I hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Stop! Please! Don't pursue this any further!
Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Let's go.
When I saw that man raise his knife.
When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Save? Yes, I'll save. Okay. There you go. Excuse me.
Yes, at least I think it was him. Tyrion Cuthbert, attorney of the Arcane TCG. Alright, okay.
DM me that later, Mr. GB. DM me that, GB, and I'll have a look later. You think?
All I could really see was shadows.
The power outage that immediately preceded the accident. It also documented the prosecutor's office reports. So then you...
I panicked and rushed toward both of them.
Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife.
What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock.
Bloody hell. Cheers for that, GB. Let's should be set to this. Hold on. There we go.
I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur.
Miss Skye was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next?
Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger.
You think Emma stabbed Marshall accidentally? Have to wait and see. Are you sure about that?
Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange, but I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember.
If you like, I can always get you a copy of that game I gave Morcar. What game was that?
Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? You're thinking the urn, aren't you? Okay. Excuse me. It was Gumshoe.
No! He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. Oh, this is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then, by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. Save. I think it's Gant. Yeah, I'm back from binging on Mima's videos. There you go. Welcome back. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the defence's belief that on this fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. So no, don't apologise, Mima. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? No, not me. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger lookalike. Murgut said the urn. Let's give it a go. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... Oh, what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. No, indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I'm definitely saving it now. I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. God. Tilt it back around, tilt it back around. Making a pig's ear of it. There we go. How about that? That'll do, wouldn't it? Oh, this isn't right. I've got to make it look more like the badger. Ah! Okay. Yep. I can do it. Excuse me. Right, so that's got to go right. Not like that, is it? No. Right. Okay. Right. How about that? Did that look alright? There we go. I remember this from the first time I played it, right? And it took me forever to get this angle. Well, is this a miracle or what? It reminds me of a jester. Yeah. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. Love me, bacon. No, it can't be. Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that blue badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? What?
Excuse me. What do we think, chat? The location? Hang on. Let's look at the court record. Found in... Alright. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's... Right, but it doesn't change the murderer. Does it? It's a weapon, isn't it? Yeah. Let's go with that. Allow me to take these in turn. Okay. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? The final fragment found in Chief Gant's cunt. Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? This is the same bloody room. Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. I swear, Mergu. This is one of many plays like, yeah. Good on you, Mergu. He dedicated to it. Dedicated to it. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? It was Emma. That would have had to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah! The suit of armour, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armour was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No. Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking... Yeah. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Oh, my days. No, not that one. You go in. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Yep. 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 Now do you see why Lana was so insistent on being found guilty? You mean Mr. Marshall died because of
Me? No!
Thud. She's passed out.
I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was a witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor...
Blah.
The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you have to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. No, not like this on right. Cool. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. Bacon bits, yum. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify.
What do you mean you can't? My dude! Where's Maya? Oh my god! You literally could get dead people to testify.
This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message.
For better or for worse,
Mr. Marshall did not die instantly.
He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
TCG seems to know them. Know who? I know nobody. Maybe the blood traces. Years. I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Wait a minute. Could that be? Right. Is in the evidence. Let's go with that. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Excuse me. Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us this piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
Now, yes. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is he just going to speak the killer's name?
If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Oh, looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What on, Murgoot? What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on the jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yeah, but notice, for some reason, blood on the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away.
Yes, there is a line here drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines.
I can't say prosecutor. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him, excuse me, to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away.
Lumino! Yes, Murgoot.
But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honour, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There was only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Right, so...
it's gonna be Emma, innit? Bruh. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana.
That's not how you spell GAN TCG, sorry!
After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this.
Ah! Emma.
So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye.
What a twist, ladies and gentlemen, what a twist.
Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you.
Chief Gant?
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
Replay it and try to spell. You can't. I'm afraid, you can't.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not?
Ah.
Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
But
Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. But if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge.
Exclamation mark.
Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
Outroar. There's outrage. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Chat. Bit of a short one tonight then. I'm going to leave you hanging. I'm going to leave you lot hanging. Oh. Final day, trial letter. Should we continue? No! Boo! Oh. No, TCG, I can't sleep not knowing. Wait, there's more? There's still more. We're cracking on, guys. We're cracking on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. February 25, 12:06, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. I've already saved it, JFC, don't worry. Wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Was that an evidence law for dummies book? Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Wait. Leave my wife out of this. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Have I got it yet? Not yet. Now I have. From Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. That must be a very short rule book. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. Yeah, come on. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Do we have any gavel emojis? Let's have a... Oh. I'll have a look. Oh man. Oh, the closest I could do is that. Hey! Where'd you get that? Speak. Judge, maybe? Yeah, boy! Let's get some judges. Let's get some judges in the chat, guys. Let's do this. February 25, 12:52, District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honour. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honour. Yes, well... Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honour. I have a solution. Solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defence to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Well, undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. Excuse me. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Well, very well. The defence accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defence may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realise this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Wait. Oh, I nearly loaded. No. Nearly loaded that data. Nearly loaded it. The defence calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. It was you, Detective. Take that. Damon Gant. The defence calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honour? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Grant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch, and then I was going to go swimming. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. Pregnant pause. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish.
You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Weapons?
Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to.
What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you.
Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. Cell 9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? Huh, he was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head.
I see. And everything seems pretty clear-cut.
If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Oh, hello, Pep. Hello.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day.
Hold up. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day.
Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that.
Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room?
I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it.
What do you want? To make a long story short, we slipped up.
That power outage didn't help either.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, right?
That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky!
What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden. I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though.
Man, that is not funny.
When I went to my office, I found Lana there.
Could you tell us what you saw?
Oh, it was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together.
Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor?
Yes, apparently he'd hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls.
Lana and Emma.
Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done.
Exclamation mark. Apparently she'd already rearranged the coin machine. How can you know that? Excuse me.
Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved.
So that means you found the body near Lana's desk.
Well, that's right. I think you said earlier. It was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor?
Yes.
Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances.
Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy! Always a smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Right, let's go to the end. That's blatantly because he's making a statement there. Right, what do we got? Okay. Yeah. Yes, well done. Well done, Mergo. Well, I picked the cloth, but I think the urn could have done it as well. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how would you explain this? What's that? And what's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please? I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know? TCG, how old are you? Am I allowed to ask? Oh, Marina, you never ask a lady her age. Oh my god. I am between the ages of 30 and 40. I'm keeping that close to my chest. Don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Am I, Mima? Am I really? You sure about that? Forever 18. Yeah, that's what I am. Yeah, that's what I am. 50. Fuck off. 53. Mima, am I really 36 though? Am I? You're not right. Okay. Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defence was not prepared. You told me I guessed right last year, TCG. But how do you know I was telling you the truth? How did I get out? Oh, I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. There you go. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defence another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once. But only because you asked, Archie. Thank you. I reassure you the defence is terribly sorry. Yeah. Sorry I didn't nail you. Phrasing again. I mean, granted... Oh, bollocks. At least I didn't get a penalty for that. So you're right. I probably have... Right. So let's go with the urn, like you said. There we go. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was found discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. Oh, I probably could have presented that as well. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Oh, Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that?
Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence.
Ah.
Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
What? Gosh, if Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work.
Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office.
Uncle TCG once admitted to watching EastEnders, and has a small CG. Should he is at least 42.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, I'll be 42.
Better than 53.
There we are. And, excuse me, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
I am currently rolling joints. Good man.
Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment, and a list. Oh, for all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason to participate in a forgery. Or there's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
When are we going to have another quiz? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's pretty much retired at this stage. I may do the odd one.
Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. Oh, you do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Ooh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Archie. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Excuse me?
Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic?
For all I know, you could have planted them in my office.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations.
Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that.
What? I'll have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? I'm talking about when Raito's prints were found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal.
Oh, I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy.
Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered.
What do you mean by that?
This is all purely hypothetical, of course. Suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery.
If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery...
I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was found. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless.
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation?
It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient, right? The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, come now, Raito. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you reap from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? Well, that would of course be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. There had been something in it for him. Given his selfishness, would have helped. Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? I'm going to say point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I meant. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Gotta be Lana, innit? It's gotta be. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? As for Chief Gant, he would also have reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is for self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Charge! Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy? Better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's not too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Yeah, good question. Got him, Murky, what you thinking? Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a dumb criminal? Dumb criminal, or both? I believe evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Show us his evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Is it this? Well, Chief, so long as Righto here is tossing out things regardless of their evidence, mind if I toss something too, RG? Beg your pardon? This shoe should do nicely. I'll chuck it right at you. You were always quite a joker, weren't you? Oops, looks like I got it wrong.
I know it's hard to I know it's hard to tell with all that's gone on during this trial. But try to think back what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago.
Yeah. Something that proves Gant entered that room.
Looks like he wants another shot of another one of your boots, Archie.
I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. It better be good. Uh... Oh man. I think. Can't save at the moment. Maybe the prince? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with this first of all. Ah, okay. Don't worry. Ease up, chap. Ease up, chap. Try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Yes. Oh my god. Right. No, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is. It's... Yeah. What's this? This is the ID card list. Yes. The one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number.
It's your number. What? How do you know that? Well, the safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. Same as the remaining ID card number on this list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it? To the evidence room, the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you on that day, would he?
Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Thank you. You hadn't seen him? Days? Chief Gant. Afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Oh God, right, hold on. Was it this? And it's got to be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman had to go see... Oh, that's right. Yes. It's the card. Can only be submitted to the Chief of Police, yes! Glad one of us is awake, Mergut. I might let you take over. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to have given that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes. To transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman? Exactly. But wait. The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's just not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Oh, whoa, look at that animation. That was mental. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the Chief of Police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Okay. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we needed to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? It's alright, show us this evidence. Bad Forest. To move the victim's body, Chief Gantz used this. Okay. Goodman's card? They couldn't have. Oh man, right, okay, I mean, the thing is to move the... Let's go with that. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. Parking stop. Miles Edgeworth? You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office. After the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gantz no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried out in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Oh boy. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body language stuffed in the trunk but waiting to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify? Well, I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're just going to run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. Ooh.
That's what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Oh, crap. Here we go. Well, Mr. Wright. Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body? Do I have proof? Oh, man. Right, I'm going to say I don't have proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
See, Archie?
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the Chief. What?
Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Archie, I'll leave the rest to you.
Oh, wait a minute. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to our senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Oh, Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. The lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. Still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions. Based in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Chief Gant? I thought you were going to eat.
Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences.
That's right. Your sister will be found guilty.
For Neil Marshall's murder.
This isn't good.
Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then, I've got a lunch date to meet.
Yeah, blatant witness intimidation. Okay, if there aren't any further objections. This court is now in recess. Night, Marina. Take it easy. February 25, 2:04 PM, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe.
Ha ha ha. I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh, yeah? Sorry about that.
Ah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office.
My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
You mean Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Khan's done it again. Was he always... How is it he always gets the upper hand?
Not fair that he has a right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? The chief, that it's not a right to be casually invoked. Gumshoe not would if he is your new assistant, TCG.
For certain risks that need to be considered.
Risks. What did you mean by risks? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? You said that? Ah. Emma? Are you okay? Yeah. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. She heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she found it all. And she did it all. To protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. Yeah, that must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see.
Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here? No. I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right. It's time to end this. Yeah, clown smile. Hey, Maverick. Right. We're doing a to be continued. Right. As much as I want to carry on, my eyes are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So I am going to wrap it up there. But there will be a short, snappy stream tomorrow night. You can bet your bottom dollar, okay? In fact, depending on how long that one lasts, we may even do the first case of the second one tomorrow. Because I think that's normally just like a, I'm sorry, GB, I'm sorry. But I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. Let's bring that back up. Yeah, thanks ever so much for stopping by tonight. We will definitely 100% get this wrapped up. All right. Man, I'm trying to make these about 2 hours long, so it's gonna be. We're gonna get to a point where we might not be able to get through an entire bit, but again, really enjoying this series. And I hope you are too. GB, I will check out that game that you've DM'd me, and everybody, yeah, go and subscribe to Mima, and also go and check out Shrouded Hands Twitch channel as well. He's started that up. Be nice. Tell him I said hi. In fact, hang on a minute. Let me see if I can get the link. Bear with me. Is he still playing? Is he still playing? Oh, he's not playing now, but.
Go. Yeah, check out oh, I'm not posting. Oh, okay. Right, hold on. Switch account now. God dang it. God dang it. How many subs did you get, Mima? Is that of interest? How many new ones? Let me know in the comments below. A frick? Okay, that's very different. Oh, nice one. Excellent stuff. Right. There's Shrouded Hands Twitch. Go and drop a sub on that as well. And if you've got your little, if you've got the cuck art, oh, was it cheapy? if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually subscribe to somebody for you get one sub for free. And yeah, if you've got a spare one going, give it a Shrouded. Why don't give it a Shrouded if you haven't given it? Oh, before we end the stream, let's end the poll. Find out how we did this evening. So the question I asked at the beginning of the stream was, who would you rather be locked in an elevator with, inside an elevator with? And 9% said Wendy Oldbag. 9% also said Officer Vikins. 27% said Miles Edgeworth. And 54% said Phoenix Wright. Well, to be fair, I would agree. I would rather stay with Phoenix. Edgeworth, you'd probably end up getting killed by his mentor prosecutor person. Officer Vikins would probably screech at you with a megaphone and then try to get you into his 30k hentai program. Fully disavow, by the way. Wendy Oldbag would just, well, gas bag until you end up like that security guard geezer that died in the lift. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for stopping by. I will see you tomorrow. We will wrap this up. So all that is left to say is until next time. Take care and goodbye for now.